impacts the efficiency of the wash plant and the ability to process gold with limited resources at Paradise Hill. Every delay in getting water flowing felt like a major blow to the team's chances as the season wore on. The crew worked tirelessly to salvage what they could. The days were long, the stakes were high, and with winter fast approaching, time was running out to make a meaningful profit. The entire operation felt like a race against the clock, with every obstacle seeming to add to the mounting pressure. The rise of Parker Schnabel, a stark contrast, while Tony's operation seemed to be bogged down by one setback after another. Parker Schnabel, Tony's younger rival, was thriving. Parker's operation ran like a well-oiled machine, with each step carefully planned and executed. His meticulous attention to detail and efficient approach set him apart from Tony's chaotic reactive style, where Tony struggled with a flooded claim, broken equipment, and regulatory issues. Parker's operations seemed to glide along smoothly. Parker's focus on planning ahead and ensuring that every piece of equipment was functioned properly allowed him to hit his gold targets at an impressive rate. His success this season only added to his growing reputation as one of the top miners in the Klondike, while Tony's reputation seemed to slip as his setbacks piled up. The financial reality: a season of missed opportunities. As the weeks dragged on, the financial reality of the situation became even more evident. Tony's hopes of reaching 5,000 ounces were looking increasingly unlikely, while Parker continued to pull in gold by the truckload. Tony operation at Paradise Hill struggled to meet even a fraction of its target. The failure at Indian River was a significant blow, but the financial losses from the delayed work at Paradise Hill were also substantial. The 5,000-ounce target that Tony had set seemed further out of reach, and the financial strain on the operation was undeniable. Yet, even as the pressure mounted, Tony refused to give up. His determination to make the most of the remaining season drove him to push his crew even harder. The lessons learned from the failure at Indian River, while bitter, began to sink in. Careful planning, attention to detail, and adaptability were the keys to success, traits that Tony realized he would need to develop more fully if he hoped to keep up in the cutthroat world of Klondike mining. Parker's dominance, the new standard in Klondike mining. By the end of the season, Tony's operation at Paradise Hill had produced some gold, but it fell far short of his ambitious goals. The failure at Indian River loomed large, and the financial impact of the season was significant. Meanwhile, Parker Schnabel finished the season strong with a haul of gold that spoke to his careful planning and strategic execution. He had demonstrated time and again that methodical, precise work was the key to success in the Klondike. Parker's success only highlighted the difference between his approach and Tony's, where Tony relied on sheer grit and wild bets. Parker had shown that being strategic, organized, and adaptable with the qualities that would make a miner successful in the modern Klondike. For lessons learned, Tony Parr's rise served as both a source of frustration and a reminder of what was possible when things went according to plan. The end of the season marked a turning point for Tony Beets. The challenges he faced were significant, but they also provided invaluable lessons. For Tony, the failure at Indian River was a harsh reminder that even the most seasoned miners need to be prepared for the unexpected. His chaotic approach, while effective in the past, was no longer enough to keep up with the ever-changing landscape of gold mining. As Tony moves forward, the lessons from this season are clear: careful planning, attention to detail, and the ability to Beets, the self-proclaimed king of the Klondike, is no stranger to big bets. For years, he has cultivated a reputation for making bold decisions, often at the cost of risking millions. High hopes This season, his sights are set higher than ever with a target of 5,000 ounces of gold, a figure that could yield millions in profit, particularly with gold prices soaring to new heights. However, as Tony embarks on this ambitious journey, the unpredictable nature of mining and the harsh realities of the Klondike have thrown him into a struggle unlike any before. What began as a strategic gamble to strike gold at Indian River has spiraled into a series of setbacks that threaten to undo everything he has worked for. The bold gamble at Indian River. Tony's quest for gold this season started with high hopes. Indian River was meant to be the key to unlocking his 5,000-ounce target, a location that he believed held great promise. The work began with a daunting task of draining the flooded claim, a job that took weeks of effort. With the ground prepared and the plant in place, Tony set his sights on getting his wash plant up and running. This was no small feat, as the plant had been sitting idle for 4 years, gathering dust and rust. The wash plant, a massive machine crucial for separating gold from dirt, had to be carefully reassembled. The 7-ton shaker deck needed to be lifted and bolted into place, and spray bars weighing 2 tons had to be mounted. Every piece had to fit perfectly to ensure the operation would run smoothly as the crew worked tirelessly to revive the wash plant. Tony's leadership was put to the test. Every step of the process was fraught with challenges, as the logistics of reassembling and fixing a large complex machine became a massive undertaking. Finally, after days of hard work, the plant was up and running, but just as Tony began to feel the relief of progress, disaster struck, not from the plant itself, but from an unexpected source: the Yukon Mining Authority. The water license crisis, a catastrophic disaster strikes. Setback as Tony's crew prepared to move the plant to the cut, they were blindsided by a visit from inspectors. What followed was a blow that could have been avoided with more careful planning. The water license for Indian River was not in order. Tony had been authorized to mine only 1 acre of land, but his plans involved 15 acres. This critical mistake led to the halting of operations at Indian River, effectively rendering it a non-operational site. The inspectors' arrival brought the entire operation to a screeching halt, and with it Tony's hopes for a smooth, profitable season. The consequences of this oversight were devastating, not only for Tony but also for his crew, who had invested weeks of labor and resources into getting the site ready. Morale quickly plummeted, and with the season already well underway, time was running out to make up for lost progress. For Tony, the failure at Indian River was a bitter pill to swallow. Not only had the gold target seemed impossible now, but the financial losses were mounting. A shift to Paradise Hill, new challenges, old struggles with Indian River effectively shut down. Tony had no choice but to return to Paradise Hill, a site that had been put on pause earlier in the season. The problem with Paradise Hill was that it hadn't seen any action for weeks, and getting it back up and running would require a substantial effort. The clock was ticking, and every day spent getting Paradise Hill back in shape was one less day to hit the ambitious goal of 5,000. To make matters worse, the work at Paradise Hill had its own set of challenges. The equipment had been left neglected for far too long, and Tony and his crew had to do everything from reassembling machinery to handling logistical nightmares with fewer resources and a growing list of tasks. The crew was already stretched thin. The pressure on Tony to deliver results was overwhelming, and every mistake felt magnified. Managing the water supply became a particularly difficult challenge. Water management is crucial for mining operations, as it directly